Hi guys, so today I'm gonna show you how to do a simple two-tier wedding cake. Now I'm gonna put 3 layers on each of my tiers. Here I have a 10-inch cake and I have 6-inch cakes right here. I'm also using cake boards. This is a 12-inch board glued onto a 14-inch board. Over here I also have a 6-inch board to cover up my cake. So let's get started. Let me show you how to put those together. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of buttercream on my board just so that my cake does not move around. I'm just going to put a little bit more. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my layer on. And my cakes have been in the freezer, so it's a lot easier to handle. And then I'm going to go ahead and start with a rim around my cake. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill my cake. This is whipped cream cheese frosting that I made earlier. And if you guys are interested, just let me know and I'll put a tutorial up on how I make my whipped cream cheese frosting. And I'm just going to put a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put my next layer on upside down. Do another rim. And this is just to keep my filling from getting out from my cake. So this will secure my filling, because my filling is not as strong as buttercream because it's whipped. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put that in like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put the final layer on. And I always put the bottom side up so that way I know that it's going to have straight edges and the top is going to be straight. So now I'm going to go ahead and crumb coat my cake. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start crumb coating my cake. I'm filling in the gaps first because it'll be a lot easier for me to frost the side once I have the gaps in. So I'm just going to fill it in like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're still going to be doing the final coat. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a light crumb coat on my cake just to seal in any crumbs. And this is just buttercream frosting that I made earlier today. So if you can see, it doesn't have to be perfect because basically what you're doing is you're just sealing in the crumbs for the next step. Okay, so I'm just going on top and smoothing out the top of my edges really fast. And what I'm gonna do now is this is gonna go into my freezer for several minutes. I would probably say maybe about 15 minutes. And once I put this in the freezer, I'll go ahead and start on the top tier. So let me just go ahead and put this in the freezer really fast, and then we'll start on the second tier. Okay, so I have myself a 6-inch board, and I'm just putting it on a bigger board so that way it's easier for me to handle my cake while I'm frosting it. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of buttercream on there just so it doesn't move around. Sorry about that. That was my husband. I guess he's happy about something. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put some buttercream on my 6-inch board just so that my cake does not move around. And I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat the same process with this cake, and then I'm gonna go ahead and crumb coat it and then show you what I do next. Okay, so I'm done with my top tier for now, and I took out my bottom tier. It's probably been in the freezer for about maybe just 5 minutes, not quite 10, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start frosting my cake. And I always start from the top going to the bottom, and so this was a cake request for this weekend, and so this was just one of the designs that they had asked for, and so I will be making this for them for tomorrow. So I'm just making sure that all my sides are filled, that I don't see any cake showing. And I'm not looking for straight sides because they want this cake to have swirls on it. And so that's what I'm gonna do. And hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. It's kind of at an angle at the moment. Okay. So I just want to make sure that all the bottoms are covered. And I'm just going to try and take off whatever excess that I can from my frosting at the moment. And so okay, and then I'm going to come on top here. I just want to make sure that I have frosting to cover all the sides of my cake. And then I'm just going to clean off my top just like that. And I'm starting from the edge going in. That way I don't have a ridge at the side of my cake. And all I'm going to do is clean my board. I'm just going to use my spatula for that. Okay, and so I'm just going to go ahead and start from the bottom. And they want a swirl effect, and so that's what I am going to be doing. And I'm just taking my spatula, going from an angle, and I'm just putting a dent in my frosting, just like this. And it helps to have a turntable too, and so it does help you guide your cake. So this is all I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and come back on top and clean it off. Just like that. And I want to make sure that I don't see as much frosting. I kind of want it to be a bit smooth. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and fix this with some hot water, and then I will come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I went ahead and smoothed out the top of my cake, and as you can see, I used my 6-inch cake pan and I did an indent on my cake just to make sure that when I'm putting my top tier on, it's on there as even as I can. I'm just gonna go ahead and just measure out my. Okay, so again, I'll just be putting my dowels into my cake and measuring it out, and then I will show you what it looks like after that. Okay, so I'm just inserting my last dowel right now. I just used a knife to cut my dowels, and I made sure that they were all the same size. So I basically just inserted one, marked it, and then made sure that all the dowels matched the first one, instead of inserting each one in and then cutting it to its size. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back into the freezer, finish my top tier frosting it, and then I'll show you how to put the cakes together. Okay, so I just barely took my cake out of the freezer. This one has actually been in the freezer a little bit longer. I think this one's been in there for about maybe 15 minutes. This one maybe not even 5 minutes, but I just wanted to hurry and show you how I put my cake together. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lift up from the bottom. If you remember, I had put a 6-inch board on the bottom of this cake, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and put that down just like that. Wipe my hands off, and then I'm gonna go back and fix my frosting. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and just pipe a small border. It's like a bead border, if you can see. I'm just going to go ahead and start from the back, just like this. And I'm going to go ahead and go all the way around my cake, and then I will show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm done putting my cake together and piping my border on. So now all I have left to do is putting my flowers on, and these are fondant flowers that I made earlier today. And if you guys want to see how I do it, just let me know and I'll try and do a tutorial on it. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put them on the cake, and it doesn't really have to be in any order, I guess, but I'm just gonna go ahead and stick them on the cake like that. And again, these are just fondant flowers, and so they're edible. Just like that. And then I made some leaves over here too, you can see. And then I'm just gonna stick these onto the cake too. And so I'm not really making these into any specific order or anything. I'm just sticking these onto the cake, but I will show you what it looks like after I'm done. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the final piece of what my cake looks like. And this is a wedding cake. Again, it's a very simple wedding cake anyone can do. So hopefully you guys like my tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, you guys.